To date, there have now been 32 WrestleMania events in WWE's long and storied existence. Although some matches and events have flopped, others have provided the most exciting, entertaining, and emotional memories in wrestling history. Here are 10 greatest WrestleMania moments. The very first WrestleMania. We couldn't imagine doing a list of the best WrestleMania moments without paying homage to the very first event. Conceived by Vince McMahon to rival Jim Crockett's Starrcade pay-per-view, WrestleMania 1 featured names like Hulk Hogan, Ricky Steamboat, Andre the Giant, and Roddy Piper, as well as celebrities like Cyndi Lauper, Muhammad Ali, and Mr. T, with Jesse Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon calling the action. There have now been 32 installments of wrestling's largest event, but the first still managed to drum up its fair share of attention. Despite having a crowd of only 19,000 at Madison Square Garden, over 1 million people watched on closed-circuit television, the most in US history at the time. The harder they fall, WrestleMania 3. Despite being the reigning WWE champion, the odds appeared to be stacked against Hulk Hogan when he was challenged to a match by former friend Andre the Giant. And once WrestleMania 3's main event began, Hogan unsurprisingly had trouble gaining ground against the 7'5", 520-pound monster of a heel. But after over 10 minutes of punishment, Hogan finally knocked Andre down with a clothesline and somehow found the strength to hulk up and body slam the Giant to seal the win in front of 93,000 screaming fans. The Ultimate Challenge, WrestleMania 6. The main event of WrestleMania 6 wasn't just a match that pinned the reigning World Heavyweight Champion Hulk Hogan against the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Ultimate Warrior. It was also a meeting of the two greatest characters in professional wrestling history at the time. Granted, the duo weren't the best technical wrestlers, but they knew how to work the mic and theatrically execute their moves better than anyone else. In the end, Hulk missed a leg drop, Warrior landed a big splash for the 1, 2, 3, and the crowd of 67,000 left with 23 minutes of absurdly entertaining action that they'll never forget. If you're looking for an event that marked the beginning of the end of wrestling's golden era, this is it. Reunited, WrestleMania 7. As a defeated Randy Savage lay on the canvas following his defeat by the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 7, he was shockingly kicked and beaten by his manager, Queen Sherry. However, Miss Elizabeth happened to be in the audience for the match, and after seeing this despicable display, she ran into the ring to save her former client and love interest. In response, the two embraced, Savage hoisted Miss Elizabeth onto his shoulder, and he held the ropes open for her as cheers rained down from the crowd. The two had officially reunited, and Savage was a fan favorite once again. Don't believe this was one of the greatest WrestleMania moments? Tell that to the thousands of crying fans in the audience. The Boyhood Dream, WrestleMania 12. The WrestleMania 12 Iron Man match between Shawn Michaels and defending champ Bret Hart lasted a grueling 60 minutes. And just when it looked like HBK was going to submit to the sharpshooter, the bell rang and the match went into sudden death overtime. Despite being unable to even stand up at first, Michaels managed to land 2 quick kicks to Hart's face and secure a pin for his long-awaited first WWE Championship. As an emotional HBK sat on the canvas in victory, then announcer Vince McMahon summed up the scene perfectly by saying, "The boyhood dream has come true for Shawn Michaels." Austin officially arrives, WrestleMania 13. In 1996 and 97, a heated feud developed between veteran Bret Hart and newcomer Stone Cold Steve Austin, which culminated in a no disqualification submission match at WrestleMania 13. The balance brutally shifted back and forth as the duo used all kinds of questionable moves and foreign objects in an attempt to gain an advantage on the other wrestler. Even after having his face busted wide open and being placed in the sharpshooter, a battered Austin refused to submit and eventually passed out from the pain and blood loss. The Hitman was declared the winner, but he nevertheless continued to attack an unconscious Austin. This marked a historic double turn where Hart was viciously booed as he exited, and Stone Cold's popularity skyrocketed for the first time in his career. Icon vs. Icon, WrestleMania 18. After much back and forth, it was decided that fan favorites The Rock and Hulk Hogan should face off at WrestleMania 18 in a historic Icon vs. Icon match. Although it was entertaining to see these two megastars stare each other down and duke it out, the big moment came at the end after the much-cheered Hogan's eventual defeat. In a true show of respect, the two men shook hands following the match, and The Rock even helped defend Hogan from fellow NWO members Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, solidifying a face turn for one of wrestling's all-time greats. Foley's on fire, WrestleMania 22. We all know the greatest moment of Mick Foley's career was his Hell in a Cell match at King of the Ring 1998, but Mankind's second best? That's gotta be his bout with Edge at WrestleMania 22. It wasn't even a main event. Heck, it was only number 5 out of dozens of matches that night, but it was nevertheless brutal, violent, dangerous, and provided the memorable WrestleMania moment that Mick needed for his Hall of Fame career. In typical Foley fashion, there was barbed wire, countless thumbtacks, a bunch of blood, and the whole thing ended with both wrestlers going through a flaming table. Edge won after mustering just enough strength to drape his arm over Foley, while both men lay broken and bleeding on the ground. I'm sorry, I love you. WrestleMania 24. When Shawn Michaels reluctantly accepted Ric Flair's challenge for a WrestleMania 24 match, he knew he could be potentially ending the career of his childhood idol. After 20 minutes of an HBK-dominated battle, a broken and exhausted Flair beckoned for Michaels to come at him one last time. Clearly distraught, Michaels mouthed the words, "I'm sorry, I love you," before finishing off Flair with a final sweet chin music. After the match, Michaels quickly exited, allowing Rick to embrace his family and enjoy a well-deserved standing ovation for his illustrious career. The streak ends. WrestleMania 30. Don't get us wrong, seeing Brock Lesnar manhandle The Undertaker for most of this 25-minute bout was not our ideal form of entertainment, and afterwards watching Taker sadly sit and collect himself in the middle of the ring in defeat was even worse. But what happened next was surreal. Lesnar won, but his music didn't play, and there was no typical victory celebration. Instead, fans around the world were given time to take in the historical significance of the moment, and let The Undertaker slowly walk up the ramp to cheers, thank yous, and a standing ovation from the announcers and arena crowd, many of whom were in tears. This moment makes the list not for the defeat that occurred, but for the accomplishment it officially recognized. After 21 straight WrestleMania victories, The Undertaker's streak was over. This concludes our list of the 10 greatest WrestleMania moments. Think there are better ones? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and share this video and follow TheSportster on YouTube.